Listen, some decks are all about power. Other decks are about strategy. But how about a deck that's full of deception and tricking your opponent, and most of all is a ton of fun to play? Today's deck guide, Attack of the Clones, is going to drive your opponents crazy. Because again, it's not just focused on high power plays, but rather outsmarting your opponent for easy and consistent cubes. Look at this clip for a perfect example. I'm going up against a meta in-game Patriot deck. This is a pull 3 deck against my pull 2 movement deck, and this guy's got me more than beat going into turn 6 with pure raw power. However, with some trickery and movement, I was able to fool my opponent and get the cheeky W. So let's waste no time at all and teach you everything you need to know in order to get wins, just like in the clip you just saw, and let's move to the deck guide. As always, let's start with the deck essentials. These cards you're going to have to make the deck work, and this deck will be focused on 3 MVPs. First, welcome Vulture, your new favorite card. So without question, pull 2 is where Vulture will shine the most, costing only 3 energy. Vulture has tremendous scaling and will be the powerhouse of this deck, because each and every time he moves, he's going to grant himself 5 power, indefinitely creating a portable nuke at any location. For our second MVP, Craven. This time, rather than a card moving for extra power, cards will move to Craven and it'll grant him +2 power each and every time. He's an excellent anchor for a location. Combining his cost and his awesome scaling makes him an easy frontrunner for this deck. And for the last MVP, the namesake of the deck, Multiple Man, the Attack of the Clones. Multiple Man might be one of the most fun cards in Marvel Snap, but can also be extremely powerful. With the right card pulls and upgrades, Multiple Man can be a flat-out game winner. To upgrade your clones, you'll want to use 2 of the 3 upgrading cards in Hulkbuster, Forge, or Nakia. All of them come with different pros and cons, but I prefer both Hulkbuster and Nakia, as I feel like I can target the power easier. As for the other essentials, let's start with Dr. Stephen Strange. Although 3/3 value is absolutely garbage, Strange does equip you with the right tools to power up the other MVPs in your deck by moving your highest power card. Next up, a massive pull 2 upgrade to the movement deck. Cloak comes at a great value of 2 cost and 4 power. He has a very strong ability of granting movement to all of the cards on the battlefield. Yes, this does mean for your opponent as well, but it'll often only benefit you. Most recently voted by you guys, Nightcrawler is your favorite pull 1 cost card. He's a great opener, a great closer. Nightcrawler is who I like to use to reach those harder to reach locations without fully dedicating my entire deck, and it's a great setup for cards like Miles Morales. One of my favorite movement cards in the game, Iron Fist is only 1 cost, and he'll be Vulture's, Multiple Man, and Craven's best friend to give them free power. And lastly, for our essentials, Heimdall, the closer. Coming from Pool 1, you're already very familiar with Heimdall's turn 6 ability. It'll often throw your opponents way off, moving every card 1 spot to the left. He is beyond advantageous for movement-style decks and is a great way to finish the game, giving pretty much all of your cards extra power. Now, as always, I want to give you plenty of options, but with 10 essential cards, there'll be less in this deck than the others. Depending on your unlocks, these are some other super powerful movement-focused cards that are optional to run in this deck. As for the first one, I would consider this an essential if you have him. Miles Morales is an absolute beast, and if you bought the month season pass, then there's no question you're going to want Miles in your deck. He is by far one of the best value cards you'll have in your deck, and it feels like a free play most of the time, consistently being available at 1 cost and 5 power. If you don't have Miles, meet Viz. I run them both because I believe Vision brings plenty of value and is the king of throwing your opponent off. Many times it'll come to a turn 6 Vision decision that decides a victory or not. Now, a lot of people run America Chavez in their movement pull 2 decks. I don't always run her myself as I feel like it conflicts with Heimdall, but it can be good to kind of push your other cost cards easier to draw turns 1 through 5 and definitely isn't a bad play. And lastly, I like to run Storm in move decks because it's often hard for your enemy to reach the flooded location, and you can always go back and commit there later. Before we go into the example matches, one thing I want to talk about with move decks is, again, It's all about outsmarting your opponent and not pure power. And a lot of that is going to come from locations. I feel like movement decks get the biggest benefit from locations rather than some other decks. And here are the most favorable or notable locations to look out for. Kunlun is going to be great, giving you +2 additional power every single time you move a card there. It is obvious synergy for your entire deck. Bifrost will be moving your cards for free, so ensure that you're placing your cards on the leftmost side when you see Bifrost pull up, or put them on the rightmost side for Heimdall later in the match. Sanctum Sanctorum and Death's Domain are both going to give your enemy headaches, while for you, it'll be a lot easier to move your cards over. And lastly, Bar Sinister is fantastic, our newest location. You can lay down your move cards, make copies, move them out of the way, and play some more to just absolutely stomp your opponent. All right, let's move to some showcase matches. Here we go. We've got Monster Metropolis as our first location in our next game, and we've got a starting hand with a little bit of favor for us. Not a lot. Nakia, Kraven, Heimdall, and Miles Morales. Nothing we could play on that first turn. Didn't draw any of our one costs. Let's see what we can do. So we've got Fisk Tower. This is a great location to show off. When life gives you lemons, avoid them, because Fisk Tower is going to blow the head off of all of our guys. And I want to show matches that aren't favorable, right? So Fisk Tower is the worst possible location. Typically, it's an instant retreat. I would recommend that. But let's go and see what we can do. So we're going to move Kraven left side. Kraven most definitely is probably going to get this Monster Metropolis bonus. Because it is a +3 power for the highest card. And Kraven scales very well. So how we want to set this up is we just don't want cards to move to Fisk Tower. So we're going to want to play our cards here, or we just want to avoid Heimdall altogether. So it is turn 3. We've got Cloak. We've got Nakia. We can buff up Heimdall and Spider-Man. Let's go ahead and put Vulture here on the left side. And either next turn we're going to play Cloak for the easy plus bonus to Vulture and Kraven. Or we can try to wait and play our Heimdall a little bit later, because Titan is going to make it possible on turn 5, which is the next turn. So that might definitely be the play here. So we can do a couple of things. I'm going to play Nakia in the middle, build up our Heimdall, build up our Spider-Man. Heimdall's going to get +10 power, which is going to be fantastic. And Spider-Man will be a 1/7 play. Also incredible. And let's see here. If I move Nightcrawler here and it moves all 3 cards away from Fisk Tower, that's going to make sure that Heimdall doesn't get destroyed or anything like that. We'll play Spider-Man after him. Let's go ahead and seal it in, and that's going to give us, I don't like locking it in this quickly, but that'll give us an immense amount of power on that left side, what should have us win the location. He is going all in on his Sunspot here, and let's see what we can do. So we're going to go ahead and play Heimdall right here. And let's just calculate the power really quickly. So 6 power, that's going to be an 8 power Kraven, which will then give him, let's see where this guy's at, 11. That's at 8-2. So he can easily take that back. And an 8 powered Vulture. And let's roll the dice. I'm going to play this on turn 5. He's playing a massive Infinite. This is fantastic. And that's going to build us up with 4, 11, 6, 11, 8. And now we can't really depend on the 6 extra power we have here, because do keep in mind that we're going to lose that. He's just going to simply build up that Sunspot with 1 extra power. So that puts us down at 19. He's at 14. We've got a +5 bonus there. So let's look at our options. What I'm thinking, guys, do we try to challenge his right side? Because again, this guy does not think we're going to try to challenge this. That's 17. Sadly, that's only 19. Not going to be enough to get it done. But what is enough to get it done is Hulkbuster. We cannot move Nightcrawler. We can't move him there. So that's a little bit of a bummer. What I'm thinking we do is we move Nightcrawler here. We follow it up by Hulkbuster. And then we put Cloak in the middle to contend with that middle location. And that way we either win the right side in the middle, or we go to the left side. He's definitely going to play the left side here. Let's go ahead and roll it. This is what I mean, though. Pure power doesn't always win. I'll be saying it all day on this video. And we've got 23 right side. He only played middle and left. Does our 4 cost card in the middle beat whatever he played? Let's see what we got. He played Rocket. Hobgoblin. Just like that. We somehow squeaked out that win. That was a fun one. And we beat an Infinite, man. Anytime you can beat an Infinite, I'm telling you, more often than not, your opponent is almost always going to think that that's a location winner for them. And we got it done. So that's what I'm talking about. And that's the power of move decks. Awesome. All right, so we've got Vision, Multiple Man, Spider-Man, and Nakia. Not the craziest opening hand, but also not terrible because Multiple Man is in the correct spot for Nakia. Now, a lot of people run Forge in this deck. I think that's definitely a fair option to run. But what we're going to do, I'm actually going to test this. I've done this before. It's been a minute since I've tested it. Let's go ahead and play Multiple Man in the middle, even though we do have Nakia. Because what I want to test here is, because sometimes I forget these things, does it move Multiple Man with +8 to another location, or does it only simply take them at the lower value because it's only cards here? We're going to have to go ahead and see. But here we go. We've got Nakia that we can play this turn. We can have Hulkbuster this turn. We're definitely going to play Hulkbuster and give ourselves an 11 power Multiple Man. That's well stronger than just about any other card. It's almost Hulk status. 12 power Multiple Man. So we're looking at pretty much a Hulk that we can move and abuse to our liking. So here we go. It's turn 4, and this is an obvious move. We're going to have Doctor Strange move our Multiple Man, and we're going to play Nightcrawler over here as well. So this is setting us up for a lot of success early on. We can move Nightcrawler if we need to. And here's the moment of truth. Will it copy the full 12, or will it only give us the Hulkbuster, which is fine as well? And it goes back down to 7. That's fine. I had a feeling. I wanted to check with you guys live again because, as you guys know, so many different things, interactions with this game that you have to figure out. So here we go. We've got our Miles Morales at a 1 cost. Beautiful. We've got our... in fact, we're actually going to play him on the left side because Big House is going to stop from our big cards playing. And let's go ahead and make this really simple for us. We're going to play Vulture. We're going to move Nightcrawler. And what this will do is if we can get Heimdall our next turn, it's going to set us up for absolute success here by playing him on that right side and getting a lot of power. Because we'll move another 7 Multiple Man. Can we get him? He's here. He's here right in time. Never late to the party. So where do we want to play Heimdall is the question. He's got 40 in the middle. So like to beat that is damn near impossible. Even if we played Heimdall here, we're looking at 12 power. That's 39. We'd lose by 1. So no, you dumbass. Learn math. That's 13. You could have died the game. So what are the other options that we have in store? We could play him here. That gives us an 8 power kind of strong front with 27 and no 7. So 22 power on the left. I don't love this. It's a little risky. Let's roll it because we're definitely not going to win that right location. He's playing Devil Dinosaur. Definitely going to get the win over us here. But a good way to show the mass power of the clones. And we got to do a little bit of battle testing. So there you have it. Next game. Let's go ahead and throw down our first combination here. We're going to throw down Vision. Not play anything else. Nothing too crazy. Certainly better Project Pegasus decks out there. But we're going to show how we can still win with a little bit of mischief. So here we go. We're going to play Vision in the middle. He'll be following up with White Queen and Sunspot. Makes me think he's playing that Devil Dino deck that we made a deck guide on. But no big deal. We've got Mindscape, which is pretty bad for move decks. This is going to take our Heimdall if we do grab him. Let's go ahead and play down Nightcrawler. Again, no reason to play Cloak, even though he's the higher energy play. We don't need to move a card yet, so let's hold on to him. And we're going to go and look at our next place here. We've got the Bifrost. This is going to help us out a lot. But right now, again, we didn't get any of the cards that we need to kind of help boost us up. We're going to play Nakia to get some value, bust up our Hulkbuster and our Cloak. Not completely wasting the value, as Hulkbuster combining with Multiple Man is still a good play. And we've got ourselves a Apocalypse deck that we'll be working with. Turn 4, move all cards to the right. So let's go ahead and get the most benefit we can out of this. And if we move all of these, we're definitely going to get our Kraven really built up. And the good news with this is Vision is like Nightcrawler, but you can move him whenever you want. So we're not locking ourselves with 4 cards right off the rip. What's cool about Cloak is you're going to be able to move cards to that location, which is going to be so big for our Kraven on this move, as we're building Kraven up like crazy here. And Miles Morales is losing it, just getting all these notifications that we can indeed play him at 1 cost. So when you want to move cards, this is a crazy game. You always want to move Craven first. We're then going to follow up with these 2 guys. And what that'll allow us to do is we're going to give another +4 power to Craven here. Going to be absolutely huge. Don't have to worry about Miles right now, even though we are giving him a free Miles Morales. Turn 7 Limbo. We got rid of Mindscape. That would have been really bad for us, but now we are going to be looking a lot better as we've got a free Miles to play. And things are looking pretty good here. So let's go ahead. We're going to play Miles followed by our Hulkbuster. Let's play Multiple Man followed by our Hulkbuster followed by Miles. Move Vision to the left, and now we've got ourselves a lot of different options, right? We're going to go ahead, combine it, get a 9 Multiple Man if we need to move him later. And we've got 9 on the left, 23 in the middle, and 7 on the right. He does have a massive Apocalypse that he's going to lay down here in a moment. And he's going to copy our Doctor Strange, so that kind of screwed him there. So we have 16. That's going to be his Apocalypse. 23 in the middle. He can't play any other cards. So if I leave my Vision here, we won. If I don't, we still won probably because we could just play Iron Fist left side. That would win us, what is that, 18 to 16? We really don't have to do anything. I'll play Doctor Strange in the middle for good measure, and we're going to snap. This is going to be a free win just by off the misplays and by the unfortunate Doctor Strange he grabbed from us. But we should win the middle and the left. He's going to forfeit. I think he realizes pretty quickly here that it's an easy win. Nope, he's going to double down. He's going to play his 16 power because he spent all that time building it up. And look at that. We got the win. So just like that, these are the little things that pure power doesn't always mean winning. Sometimes strategy can get the job done. Guess who also forgot to make an outro? This guy. Thank you guys so much for coming through today's video. Hopefully you learned a thing or two about movement decks. We've got a lot of banger videos coming, so if you haven't already, subscribe to the Cozy Club, like the video, and happy snapping.